Hopefully you can all see it okay. So we're going to start setting up the battle as per usual. And for this battle, I should be joined shortly by Happy Meal. We're taking a very small break just so people can have the restroom and things like that. Happy Meal will be joining us for commentary for this round. He's on a break battle, so he's just going to come in, have a bit of a chat, help me with some commentary. You're going to hear someone a little bit different, and hopefully get some different perspective on some of the fights than just myself. And it gives you the opportunity to hear someone else's voice as well. Is that a Happy Meal? Hey, Happy Meal, is that you?
That's me, man.
Happy Meal, welcome to the stream.
Thank you.
I have let everyone know it's up and running, so hopefully they'll be coming to join us. If you have the opportunity, I can't see the chat log, so feel free to do the answering of any questions that appears on my behalf, and I'm just going to start getting everyone set up.
Sure. I'm having a possible network problem. Is somebody alt tapped in game? In the lobby right now?
Yeah, someone might be.
Okay, I'm in right now. Yeah, I'm gonna go Misty Mountains because nobody will probably pick them.
Yeah, do you want to move yourself into Team 2?
Sure.
Okay, welcome to the 24 people that have joined us. What we will see today is as I was saying before, the third round of 5 for the semi-finals, and obviously it's wonderful to have you all with us. Again, if people are new, this is a tournament for the sort of birth, I guess, of the sub-mod for Third Age called Reforged, which was made by Sin and Kuroguro-chan. We are in the sort of finals after the knockout stages earlier yesterday, and we're in a round robin with the finalists who will then go on to be in the end battles. Now, I'm joined by Happy Meal, who will be helping me and supporting me with commentary today. He's another of the testers and a welcome friend to those involved with the mod, and you'll see him performing his heroics in a number of Pixelated Apollo and Indie Pride scenario videos, but he's also supporting us by not only being a commentator, a ref, but also a player in this competition so far. So
Yeah.
I'll let Happy Meal introduce himself.
Well, hello guys. I'm Happy Meal, and as Kenan said, I'm a participant, a referee, and I'm also now in the stream. So I'm doing all kinds of things. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for this battle. I played against Archangel and J Monster last battle, so it didn't go very well for them, but they are very good players I've seen before, so I'm pretty excited to see what they're gonna do.
Yeah, they they struggled a little bit in the opening battle I had with them as well. I think that I can't they're very good players, but they seems to be when it gets down to the last sort of 15 percenters that they just seem to possibly struggle. But their tactics and their ability to work with one another as teammates is really good. Um, and I think that they really need to use that synergy they have with one another. Now it could just be that they're taking maybe lesser factions early on, so they can have their strong factions in the end. That will give them obviously an advantage against people who are less used to the factions they're being forced to take further in. But I think we're going to see a nice, strong, close game and an exciting one too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty excited to see which factions they're going to choose right now. Okay, I've seen that Harambe is going for Gondor now, or Gondor Rohan. I'm not sure if he's going to stay with that.
Yeah, Happy Mill. Obviously, we might have some people in the feed who watched your battle with Miles, where you did the full cav with Rohan, which is the first
Yeah.
that we've had in this tournament so far. How was that for you, and how did you feel about it? My personal thoughts was that I thought you were a little bit unlucky with some of the catapult shots that went against you, but otherwise, I thought you dominated quite heavily.
It was very stressful to begin with because it's very much it's a lot micromanaging, man. So that's the main part. If you pick Rohan, you gotta be good with your micromanage. Otherwise, you will get your cav stuck in combat, or you're gonna forget about them, and they're gonna lose a lot of horses and shit. So you're gonna be good with that. But last game, Miles played Rohan, which was a mistake on our front because we thought the player couldn't take the same faction again, but he also dominated with them, and we ended up winning that battle. It's very dependent on the other guys' setup, your allies' setup, because last round I had a lot of archers with, yeah, that went better than with Miles having dwarves. So let's see what they're gonna do. But I see
Yeah,
he changed to a rod now, so
and the other problem I felt was that Miles started his dwarves very far back and with no sort of ballista or artillery force on your side, which is not a bad thing. It just meant that you didn't really have anything to combat the catapult, and you had to hold alone for a long time before Miles was able to join with his sprinters, let's say, but not long distance jogging of the dwarfs.
yeah. I think what we should have done better is maybe me hammering and anviling more instead of maybe charging the archers. Maybe that would have worked out better, but yeah, it's always afterwards, right?
I mean, like I said, I thought that you guys performed pretty well. The Uruk-hai seemed to cause a little bit of trouble in your back lines, but you closed down the Numenorian cavalry pretty quick. It was only really Gondor's cavalry that just kind of lingered. And even when you took out the sort of the general of the Mordor, you didn't see the breaking that I was hoping you might see, which could have turned the battle. Whereas really early on, you lost a unit of about 32 to a break from the catapult. Really at the very start, and that was quite costly.
Okay, by the way, I see somebody else joining right now. Okay,
Yeah.
so okay. Yeah, that was a shame because I also upgraded those Rowan riders, so I think they would have had good like morale and shit, but well, they broke. They came back though later on and they fought at the end pretty much, so that was a weird break, but yeah, it was a risky strategy, didn't work out. Second game it did work out, so it's really dependent on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're perhaps being a little bit harsh to yourself. I mean, the percentages in terms of the kills was pretty close, and the balance of power is pretty even throughout. And when you started getting some of those cycle charges on, it was really paying off, especially against some of those expensive spear units that Gondor brought. They were dropping like flies. But if you could maybe, it was just really unfortunate. They were kind of had those two cav units which were quite sticky, and you were difficult to get rid of. And even though you had your archer cav really zoning out the cavalry for a really long time. I think maybe you got maybe one or two kills for all of those archery fire that you had into them.
Yeah, yeah, I was trying to like get their cav away from the like front line, trying to arrest them, and they went after me with a couple of cav forces, but I mean, I didn't get the kills I was hoping to get with my archers there. Which, if I would have gotten more kills, I would have been happier with that. But yeah.
I mean, that's always the risk against such a heavily armored opponent. I thought you did very well zoning them out. I think it was slightly unfortunate that Miles got his crossbowmen, both crossbowman units, charged quite hard
Yeah,
very early on by the Numenorian cav, and those crossbowmen could really have devastated the heavy armor of his opponents that you were up
yeah, I
against.
saw that charge coming, but my own cav wasn't close enough, and they are dwarves, so they couldn't run away like elves could.
I imagine they were probably a little bit tired from coming about halfway across the map as well.
I don't think they were running those, so I think I'm still kind of fresh, but short legs.
But there were some great moves, like you completely destroyed that ballista crew extremely early on with a fantastic charge when you saw that opening. And
Yeah,
then you carried that on into the archers, and it was only the fact that the Swan Knights came in that you had to pull out, and you got a good sort of 70 kills out of that.
yeah. That opening I saw there, I was like, what is the ballista doing?
And the other moment that I saw was really good was the charge you did on the catapult ogres a couple times actually, both when they were on the catapult and then off towards the end. Now, unfortunately, a little bit of the damage done I think from the catapult by that point, but you took them out relatively effectively. The catapult trolls, although nothing like the Olokai, really were ineffective and by themselves didn't do anything to cause any problems.
Even though the I have to say those royal lords, the name is of the unit, those are very effective. I think those royal lords alone got 16 kills, 416, so that's crazy. And they also didn't lose much when charging. They started out at 33 and they ended up with after half the battle with 15. So, and they charged a lot. They even charged the Olok High a couple of times. Which is actually a great way to deal with the Olokai, is if they're in combat, charge them, because they're considered infantry, so they drop that way. But yeah, it was a good battle. It
Yeah,
worked
and
out.
Mordor was quite smart with his Uruk-hai. It was slightly unfortunate. What they did was he stuck his Uruk-hai slap bang in the center of sort of a square formation of archers. So every time you charged in, which would have been a good charge, unfortunately you were seemingly just like hitting your allies' men trying to get through into them. And it was quite good play by the Mordor player. I think he really, my personal thoughts, he carried that Gondor player. He was a little bit slow to react, and I think Mordor was really sort of the winner of that battle, and it was just more that Gondor had units left that made him look like he did a
Yeah,
lot of work.
yeah, the units left. Yeah, if they didn't have those Swan Knights at the end over, then maybe things would have ended up differently. Because Hammer Neville can do a lot of damage, but yeah. Let's see what this battle holds for us now.
Yeah, agreed. And the good news is you don't have to worry too much, and because it's round robin, one loss, it's not gonna, particularly
and
dent
we
your
and we
chances.
won less battles, so we it's 1-1 for us now.
Yeah, and it's all to play for.
Yeah,
And we have no idea how the other battles will go.
very true.
And if it helps, I saw those two fights yesterday, and the first forces they took were the same setup again. It was Gondor and Mordor, so they're obviously their favoured faction, which means as the battles go on and the tournament continues, they may have to go to ones they're less comfortable with, and that possibly will also lead to units and teams losing where they would otherwise win with their favourites.
Yeah, yeah. I don't to be honest, I don't really have favorites in this mod yet. I really like every single faction has some very good units, who are very fun to play with. So to be fair, I don't have favorites to pick right now. Of course, the elves are very good still. Like their archers can devastate entire units with ease, but yeah, I don't really have to. How about you? Do you have a favorite?
I'm a big favourite of Harad, actually. I really like the Trollmen. I really like the I don't know. I like the use of the Javi units. I don't know. I think they're quite exciting. I quite like Harad, but again, I don't. I'm shit with all of them, so it's pretty much equal whatever I choose. I think one of the fortunate aspects of playing the scenarios that we do is we generally don't get much of a choice about what we're playing as. And me and Happy Mill, I think we've done our time in terms of taking the attackers. We seem to never get the defenders.
Yeah, we I think last 5 games I played attacker pretty much. It's been a long time since I've played defender, but yeah, it's fine. It's fun to play anyways. Sometimes it takes a while because it keeps crashing, but yeah. Okay, have you
Um,
seen? What do you see on your side, by the way, from the setup?
Yeah, so they're really kind of sort of just starting to position themselves up. They're positioning themselves quite similar to the positioning where Miles actually started the battle, but only they're doing it together. I think. I mean, they're setting up spikes. I'm kind of concerned. Well, they brought a trebuchet. That's the reason they've positioned themselves back, and I think they're going to want to try and get some early trebuchet shops. My only concern is it do appear like they might be getting ready for the long haul and new boxing themselves in. There's a lot of spikes going up and a very big sort of uh, not totally boxy, but like a bit of a C shape going on here, or a bit of a U shape appearing, and I'm a little bit concerned about how this might play out. And as with always, the Gondor Force does have expensive cav that they're bringing with them.
Yeah, from my side, I'm seeing Harad bringing some very decent Umbar archers, and they have 3 Serpent Guard Cav units, and they have some pretty okay infantry. They're bringing mostly Harad infantry. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah, and the general is Umbar. So yeah, with 2 Trollmen of Harad, I think this Harad infantry force isn't the strongest, but I'm looking at his ally. He's a dwarves, so you know that dwarves have like strong melee capabilities.
And it looks like they're going to need them as well. Gondor has a bit of a strange mix. They have some cheaper spearman units, which I think are just there for zoning out any cav, but they've also gone for some very expensive sort of Haven Guard and sort of Fountain Guard to really bolster themselves. So they've got some very strong elites, and we'll have to see how that goes. We have a possibility. Nope, never mind.
Okay, it's back.
We've got a ballista. We don't have much archers from Gondor. They have taken probably slightly less than the maximum requirement. It's Arnor, I think, are going to box up the most. They've got a lot of pikemen, a hell of a lot of pikemen. This is a pikeman army.
Okay.
That is absolutely crazy. It'll be interesting to see how much ranged weaponry that their opponents are going to bring with them, because every time I've ever fought against the pikemen, they do drop pretty hard to range, especially javelins. If you remember from the Annuminous battles we used to do, those javelins used to tear up the spearmen pretty hard.
Yeah, and if what I'm looking at right now, doesn't seem like any of the 2 have javelin units, so that's no problem for them. But the archers can also tear the pikemen apart, of course.
Now, you fought against trebuchet before. We don't often see them brought in. I personally think that trebuchets aren't very good in pitched paddles,
Yeah,
but they seem to have some success. You were telling me yesterday in one of the battles you were playing.
that's what I thought when I played against 2 guys yesterday, where they picked the trebuchet, and I was like, well, that's fine, trebuchet's not gonna hit. But then they got a couple of good hits. So it's like sometimes in battles your trebuchet is just garbage, and sometimes it just gets good hits. It really depends on the situation. I got one game with my trebuchet just hitting more than the catapults did, so it's really based on luck and positioning, I'm guessing. But be sure to, if you have a trebuchet on the opposite team, though, to like not bulk up too much, because that's an easy target, of course. But
Yeah, and I think what they're going to use is they're going to use the trebuchet to force the opponents to come towards them. Because the trebuchet is going to have a huge range, there will be nothing that their opponents can do but have to press forward into them. And I think they'll be
yeah,
looking for a snipe with their ballista on any artillery that could come and face against them.
as I'm seeing this right now, yeah, it looks very new boxy.
Yeah, a
But
little bit concerning. We'll have to see how it goes when it goes into the skirmish phase. If it becomes a
yeah,
little bit too boxed, I'm maybe giving them a suggestion to start forming a bit of a battle line.
it's not really a box still though, because it's still like a line. I have to watch how this works out though.
Just trying to see what kind of cav
Seeing the seeing the
the
positioning of the
old team's
right
got.
army though of Arnold, it really looks like he was thinking that position I spawned in was a position where the enemy came from. That's not at all the case. So
Yeah, and I think that's probably true. I mean, we did inform them, and they did sort of indicate that they were aware that we were talking to them. So
yeah, and I told them, and I think Zach. Oh, Zach knew. Okay, but Zach is on the other team, so never mind.
The one
Yeah,
thing
that's
that
true.
I would be concerned about is that as much as Herod has brought a large number of cav, and that's always good to see with the Serpent Guard, I don't think they're going to be able to compete against the cavalry that is being brought by the opponents, the Swan Knights,
Oh
the Tyrus
no.
units. I think that for the cav battle, I think that the allies that I'm with, which is the
And
Gondor Arnor Alliance, will take that.
and don't forget about the White Knights. Those guys will destroy cav units. No problem. Like I think they're very good in melee. Like their charge is okay attack. So okay, but what I'm seeing right now is how far the Gondor player is pushing forward at Ballista. I would go for that Ballista if I have the opportunity.
Agreed. I half wonder whether the blister is becoming a little bit of a sacrifice unit to really maybe get that cavalry to be engaged on a unit. If it was me and I was looking at opponents, I'd think, yeah, I can take that cav fight.
Yeah, but I wouldn't sacrifice my Ballista for that because the Ballista is like a confirmed for sure 150 kills a battle.
Yeah, possibly, but I think they probably brought it as a sniping unit for artillery, and the opponents they're up against hasn't brought any artillery. So yes, there is an opportunity to take out some units and some men, but in the same sense, if it was brought for sniping purposes, then it might as well be a better one to sacrifice the opponent's cavalry
Yeah.
against.
But the way you are engaging it now is just I don't see it. Why would you do it? I would like maybe try and pull in the cav of the enemy first, shoot it with your own trebuchet or this is trebuchet, right? Yeah, or ballista. I mean, and then engage with your own cav. But for right now, there's no way you can support that ballista. The ballista is just gonna die.
Yeah, and I do feel a little bit sorry for the Harad and Dwarf Alliance. They are going to be forced to seemingly push up and take the offensive, which is, and as much as I'm really pleased to see that somebody is blinking first, it is always harder, more often than not, for the unit that's pushing up to win, and definitely when they have a cav disadvantage. Because not only will the other side be able to box up and defend themselves, they'll also be able to get in behind the attackers a lot easier.
Yeah.
Although having said that, we see a large push forward by Gondor. They are starting to move up. They are breaking formation, and they are going to come and meet their opponents. Arnor is going to continue to hold their rather defensive position, probably hoping again to get that trebuchet up and running. But I don't think we're going to see much movement from Arnor unless they desperately have to. And I think we're going to see a lot of cav macro from the Arnor player instead.
If I was Arno though, I would try to stay up with my Gondor ally. I wouldn't be behind them.
No, I totally agree with you as well. But again, at least it means that some forces are going to come and meet one another.
But I'm
Again,
seeing,
I definitely think this ballista is going to be a sacrifice unit here because it's not going to survive long.
but I'm seeing Arno move up now as well. So slowly but surely.
Yeah, definitely
Okay,
taking a
so
cautious approach.
apparently the I can't really pronounce that. I think the Abrazanim Narduwadawip. Okay, that went kind of fine.
Yep, I can see him.
Is engaging the ballista right now.
Yeah, definitely, and you
So
can see it tearing
it's
them up.
such a shame for the ballista, man. The ballista in a good like setup, it can get so many kills. And right now it's just getting peppered down by archers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're a very good archer unit as well. They are extremely powerful, and as much as the Blister may get 1 or 2 kills, they're probably going to lose their crew before they make much of a dent into them. And as you can see
and
here,
you
the
have to
Blister's
remember,
missing.
yeah, you have to remember a ballista is not cheap as well. Like a ballista, I'm not sure if how like expensive it is, but I'm guessing it's like 800 florins around that.
Yeah,
So
I would have thought so. If not 820, just to be a pain.
so just giving up your ballista like that is not a good trade-off.
No, and they're definitely not getting the kills. I think I've only seen 1 unit of this force actually get shot. Whereas you can see the ballista crew are starting to get peppered down, and I think we're going to see them look to have to run away or pull that back before we see anything happening. Yeah, and they are starting to march. They are going to pull that out.
Yeah. Well, that's good then. As long as they have more than 10 around there or around 10, it's fine. They're losing. They have 33 right now, so it's okay.
You can see now the
That's
Silver
very
Swans are coming
daring.
up.
Yeah, it's very daring. Especially this formation, it slows your cav down, I think.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the formation. I was going to ask your opinion on it as well.
I never use this formation, to be fair. Like, some people are saying it makes your charge better, but I don't know. I think charging in the normal formation makes it, like, the how do you say it?
So my only time I'd consider using it is possibly if I was charging cav, which are generally a smaller unit size. But if you're charging
True.
something juicy like an archer, you want to spread
Yeah.
yourself as wide as you
Yeah, you
can for
want to
that
spread
charge.
yourself and get the entire unit charged.
Because they're never going to withstand a charge. So why have
No.
3 units charge it when you can have like all 51 of them hit?
Or use this formation to try and get through somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, try and
To
find a
make
gap.
yourself as small as possible, but to be fair, I never used it.
No, I don't really use it either. And especially when you've got such a strong unit like the Silver Swan, you want to get all of those guys facing that charge bonus in. Because it's
Yeah.
already massive.
Yeah, that's a massive charge. They pull that off.
You can see the
Okay,
ballista resetting itself back up again, but closer to its own lines.
Yeah, I would try to get my... how many archers do they have? It's fairly even, I'm guessing, with the amount of archers. So I would say maybe try and get the archers stuck in battle.
Yeah, interesting to see the balance of power. Definitely favouring against my allies, which is the Gondor-Arnor alliance.
Yeah. But the Cav can change it around real quick.
Oh, definitely. And I think that's probably where the strangeness has happened from.
The guys on my team, between brackets, have to use their Cav very conservatively, so I can talk right now. They got to be reactive to their Cav. That's how they got to use that.
Agreed. I mean, they already probably should realise that they can't win that cav fight one-on-one. What they've got to do is either get those archers in there, utilise their spears, or they're just going to have to avoid that cavalry as much as they can and use their cavalry for charges and make the most of it. And you can see again, the ballista's getting peppered down. I really wouldn't even bother bringing it up.
No, that ballista's way too far up right now. I don't know if he's just thinking about wasting the archer's ammo, but I don't think that's a fair trade to do that.
And the trebuchet is now being
Trebuchet
engaged.
firing, yeah.
You can see that the accuracy of the trebuchet is not fantastic, and it's very much a bit of an RNG as to whether it's going to hit anything. But I think we're going to start seeing a proper skirmish phase begin now, as the box from both sides has moved up with their infantry, but the archers are starting to pull away.
Yeah, there's a very, very boxy formation right now for...
It's a massively boxy. Look at these men-at-arms. They're facing away from their own units to help that box, and I'm going to have to tell them to chop that formation soon, because that's taking the piss.
Yeah, that's... I don't know. Let's see what they do in a bit now.
And there you can see the trebuchet is firing over, but it's not getting the hits it wants. And quite rightly, Harad is lining their men up in a little bit of a spaghetti and giving themselves good spacing. But to be honest, it's a trebuchet. It's either going to miss or it's going to hit, and more times than not, it's going to miss.
Yeah. Yeah, if you space enough, it's gonna be... yeah, it's gonna miss a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to be unlucky at that point. The good news as well is the spaghetting is going to help for the archery, and you can see here, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I don't think that we recorded that Happy Meal. We were talking about this sort of wide sort of box formation of archers and why we didn't like it. Do you want to go into more detail as why we're not a fan of that compared to spaghettis?
I don't know if I was in that conversation, to be honest.
We talked about it a little bit in the sense that the problem with the skirmish phase was that as the arrows come in this sort of more square boxed formation, the arrows that would normally miss the front 2 rows if they overshot will hit the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th row, and they will get kills. In a spaghetti lineup, as you see over here with Harad, if that first line gets missed by an overshot of an arrow, they're just going to hit the dirt.
By the way, I see a cav engagement on the right. The dwarves are engaging the Arnor Knights, and they are doing a pretty good job at killing them right now. Those Ironfoot Hammer Guard are a very good unit.
Yeah, that's a really good charge. Looking at the bodies down here, It's definitely paid off for them. The dwarf Ironfoots, they're quite difficult to use. They're very susceptible to archer fire, and they're not good at prolonged melee at all. They have a great charge though, and it looks like that charge really paid off. I've seen
Yeah,
people take war goats before and had them absolutely vaporized before they even got to use them, and I'm really impressed with that because I really thought that they would struggle. But they've got to get those dwarves out of that battle. They can't leave them in prolonged melee like that.
yeah. I took them in a battle lesson. Not the Ironfoot Hammerguard, but the other Dwarven Goat unit. I have to say they are very good against the enemy cav. Like if you charge them well, and even in prolonged melee, they are pretty decent to be fair.
I think he's going to lose his dwarves here. I think that the cycle charges from the White Knights
Yeah,
alongside the Silver Swans, they're going to end those. And it looks like they probably are just trying to try and sacrifice them maybe just to get this infantry in position. But they
that's
can't
a
leave them open like that.
that's a very decent like trade-off though. The amount of units the Ironfoot Hammerguard killed, I think that's a very good amount. Like the Knights of the Silver Swan started around 30, 40. I don't even know. They are at 16 right now, so they got massacred by the Hammerguard.
I'm really worried about this. So they're now flanking around. They're using the positioning of Gondor to get around to shoot over and have a big long line of arrow fire. But they're really leaving their flank open to any cavalry charges from these two forces, which still haven't been zoned out. They're bringing up a little bit of Balin's Guard and the Sons of the Fallen Spearmen, but dwarves aren't fast. They can get behind those units and they can really make a push for it. So we'll have to see how this goes. And again, full credit to the dwarf and Harald forces there being good, strong, aggressive play, and I think they caught those cav with their pants down. And look at the dead bodies.
Yeah, very true. Like if you look at the pile of dead bodies and you see the amount of Gondor knights who have fallen there and the amount of Dwarven and Rod knights, it's not even close. Like they destroyed them right there.
Yeah, I take that trade-off every day, especially with the cav unit that I have being less powerful than theirs. I think that was a fantastic play.
The only problem with that is though they are leaving their flank wide open now to those remaining cav. So you got to be careful about that.
Agreed. That's my big concern for them as well. They've had a really strong, good engagement, and it has forced the Arnor and Gondor forces for their cav to pull back and rethink their strategy. But it gives them real opportunity to make the most of this open, wide flank now that they've forced that move from the dwarves. But you can see that Gondor is hastily trying to reform themselves. I don't think they were really ready for this flank attack to position itself so
No, not
far
at all.
forward and so
No.
quickly. And
What
I
I
really
would
don't think
try-
that trebuchet's working out.
What I would try and do is indeed let the dwarves try and engage the flank, try to still pepper them from the front, being a rot, and be sure that the dwarven sides are covered.
Yeah, I agree. And
But
I think what's
that's
going to
very
happen
likely.
is Harad are going to have a token skirmish force to keep the Arnor force, which are quite a sticky force. They don't seem keen to move or support their ally too much. Keep them where they are, and they're going to combine most of their forces together to take out Gondor. And that's a good strategy. I mean, if Arnor's not going to move from his sticky boxing, then you might as well kill his ally. And
Yeah.
they're probably going to do that quite effectively now as they start bringing in their forces. A little bit of frontal charge there by the Hammerguard into Spearmen. I'm not sure I would have done that.
Yeah, as you can see now, Gondor is moving Cav in, as I was afraid of. They're going to charge the Ironfoot crossbowmen, or not. They are disengaging right now.
Yeah, they're going to go for the guards of Kazakh Doom.
Yeah.
No, they're
Oh,
changing
no.
again.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. This is going to be devastating.
And that's a unit that's going to be dropping. It looks like about 30 dwarf crossbowmen are going to fall from that, which is really unfortunate.
And they just lost one white knight, two white knights. So yeah, that's good. That's harsh, I have to say.
Yeah, they really need to get those Blackrock engineers probably in position to zone out that cav because
And
the
I would
Ironfoot
also
crossbowmen are going to
suggest
die.
I would also suggest get your Arad infantry back on this side to try and countercharge the charges the Gondor Cav does.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, they are seemingly these two Ironfoot guard are zoning out those white knights, but I think they're going to get swamped and taken out.
Or they are going for the trebuchet right now. I see a charge from the Harad Cav, and I think
Yeah, they've made a gap. They're going to go in. They're going to take out the unit. They lost a few, but it's going to be well worth it, I think.
The only question is, are they gonna be able to take them out entirely before they get support? But it doesn't seem like support is coming pretty soon.
Men-at-Arms are trying to race up to get
yeah,
there now.
They're coming up.
If I was that Serpent Guard, I'd be looking to pull out about now.
Yeah, you could be like, maybe I can kill all of the trebuchet, but most of the times that's not going to work out.
Yeah, I think I'd wait for a better target at this point. And since the trebuchet hasn't been doing that much of a horrendous damage to them, again, a bit RNG-ish, I'd pull out and look for a better target. But you can see here, cavalry
I,
charge now
yeah,
into the
definitely.
skirmish line of Harad.
As well as a cav charge by the Gondor infantry on the right, cavalry on the right. Some guards of Khazad-dûm pulled through against the Haven Guard, and they are getting back charge right now, and they don't have anything against that.
Yeah, it looks like the cavalry from Arnor and Gondor have really sort of sought themselves out now, and they're charging everywhere in terms of squishy targets, and they took out a good number of an expensive missile unit there when they did that charge, and they're moving on now to continue to do so. And the Serpent Guard are struggling to keep them sort of zoned out, and I don't think they're going to be able to keep them too busy with these cycle charging coming into the dwarves.
No. I also see one Trollman of Harad of Harambe still all the way in the back. I don't know if you forgot about them or what, but he's very far away.
Yeah, I don't know why he's back there either. I think he's possibly been forgotten about, or he's some strange reserve unit.
Yeah.
Rear charges going into Haven Guard, whilst rear charges are going into the bodyguard Khazad-dûm. They really need to do something about getting maybe the Blackrock Engineers or the Crossbowmen to try and get rid of these generals' bodyguard from Gondor, those Swan Knights, because they're causing real problems to very expensive dwarven infantry.
Yeah, and they are doing fairly well, Harad and the dwarves, because Arnor is so passive with his forces right
Agreed.
now.
Arnold has to start moving over and supporting his ally, and there you go. You can see the Sons of the Fallen have come in behind the General's bodyguard. This could be the end of the General for Gondor, and that'll be a massive blow. They should have seen that infantry coming. Dwarves are not fast, and now they've got spears that are going to cut them apart.
Yeah, the Sons of the Fallen are very good units, you know.
And the guards of Balin's guard are going to come in and try and really zone out some of these archers to try and stop them from firing. And I think they'll be quite happy with soaking some of that arrow fire. They're pretty strong.
What I would suggest now them doing is try to get all of the infantry pretty much in combat, get them stuck in.
And
they are
as
heavy
if predicting the
defenders right
future, Happy Meal, you're about to see a general fallen from Gondor.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's good for the Harad and Dwarves. It's going very well for them. I was kind of afraid for them, but they are picking up very well.
Again, they're getting to the point now where I think they're going to start getting rid of some of this expensive cav unit, and the Arnor and Gondor are still trying to make them work together and do the best they can, but I think they just got themselves caught out a little bit there, and I think they've got to be exploited by the dwarves. And the aggressive play, which I'm still really praised of, is seemingly paying off, and that trebuchet still missing. And a juicy target of spearmen moving forward now to take on the pikemen.
Well, I have to say, it is Archangel and Arambe, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, those are two very good players. I have to say, what I saw yesterday and what I saw earlier today and stuff, they are very good players.
Again, it's that synergy they seem to bring with one another. It's almost like they're in the same room as they play. They're very good at working, very good at one unit taking, say, cav, and the other unit taking infantry, and combining that very effectively with timing.
Yeah, very sure. Very true, very true. I see them going very far in this tournament. A potential finalist, I'm calling it already.
Oh, an early call. I believe another general has fallen.
Yep, Recrease Kingdom of Arnor. So that means that both Arnor and done. Right?
That is terrible news. Now I haven't seen too many breaking except for your cav previously. But that's really got to shake them up a bit. That's really a big loss, especially considering how many forces are still alive that they should lose both generals. But again, they were trying to get some cycle charges on some expensive dwarves, and they just got themselves caught out. And I don't think this missile units are really going to phase these dwarves too much with their armor.
No, they're getting very much surrounded right now. I see Harad going all the way around pretty much, so they're going to encircle them.
And here come those troll men, and if they're chanting, they're going to cause a little bit of fear within the ranks, and this will be a great time to get that charge in, get on those shaken units, and start chanting their way.
And what I would also do is get those Dragon Slayers and stuff, get them out of the fight with the Wardens of the White Tower and the Haven Guard, and get them stuck in battle with other archer units.
Yeah, alternatively, I might even try and see if I can get a cav charge into the back of these units here. They're a very thin line, but they're holding up a lot of his forces, which could be better utilized everywhere else. And if he's got some cav knocking around, that's a juicy target.
As well as he has the Dragon Slayers of Arachne fighting in loose formation, and then don't like fighting in loose formation because the unit is less effective, if I'm right. So, I mean, the Ironfree crossbowmen are in loose formation as well, but that makes sense.
And it looks like some expensive Citadel Guard and some Rangers are getting caught out of position here. Now, the Citadel Guard will hold for a while, but I think with the Warband plus the Royal Guard Spearmen, I think that's going to be a quick death for those guys that now they've been surrounded. And again, it just looks like this pikeman force by Arna is just too sticky. They're basically just getting walked around now. They've got a nice formation, but it's not fighting anything. Meanwhile, they're getting swamped on the flanks.
Yeah, I mean, what I would also suggest the dwarves doing right now is get those crossbowmen firing straight and not up in the air and then down.
Yeah, real unfortunate news for the dwarves. They've just lost their general. But here comes the Arnor cavalry. They have returned with 24. We'll see if they can go for those Dragon Slayers. But the Dragon Slayers are in loose formation, which means that charge isn't really going to pay off. Yeah. And it doesn't look like the charge really worked.
I don't think they even got one kill there.
No, I agree with you. I don't think they did. I think it was almost like they're trying to walk through them. And you don't really want to walk through Dragon Slayers. And you can see they're going to start dropping now. But again, with his general dead, I guess he's maybe throwing his bodyguard away to try and slow down the Dwarven infantry from getting to his archers to give them more time to lose some of those arrows. But that bodyguard unit's a good unit, and you know, there's some real sort of more juicy targets, weaker targets of archers from Harad that they could have gone for. And yet they chose to go for some very strong melee. It could have just been accidental. And I think those crossbowmen are going to take
the Abrazanim targeting the pikemen in the back and in the sides.
Yeah, I saw that too.
It's a very good target to go after. Those pikemen aren't that good against archer fire. They're gonna drop like flies.
Agreed. I think those pikemen's days are numbered.
Yeah, and they didn't even do that much, to be fair.
And here comes the trollmen. They're going to finally silence the last of the trebuchet, although I don't think it probably was doing much good for them anyway.
No, I didn't see any good hits, to be honest. That's why I'm always... I don't know, I'm not sure about taking artillery in open field battles. And this is the exact reason. You don't know if they're gonna get... I'd rather take one more extra spear unit or one more extra archer unit.
And this is really good work here. So Balin's Guard and Dragon Slayers, they've gone in and gone straight for the Steel Bowmen. So we were talking this before about tying up the archers. The Steel Bowmen are devastatingly strong. They're pretty damn good in melee, to be honest. But I think that Balin's Guard will see this as a good fight because Steel Bowmen, very strong. Definitely tying them down like this is a good tactic.
Yeah, they're not going to do that much against the dwarves, so...
No, and I think that the trollmen are going to come in for a rear flank, and that will be good for them as well in terms of maybe shattering that force in a bit.
That's a very good charge. I don't think the steel bowmen are going to rout, but they're going to get killed off pretty fast now.
Yeah, they seem relatively eager still, so we'll see what happens. But the spearmen for the Royal Guard is now moving up, and I think they're going to silence the last of those Gondor archers. We do have some rangers of Illithin trying to sort of support the steel bowmen, but firing into the side of the Dragon Slayers. Again, though, heavily armored dwarves, I don't think they're going to mind too much.
No, do any of the two forces still have cap left? I don't think so, right? No.
There's 8 bodyguard units left that are trying to cycle between some missile units, but I think that they're going to get sort of shot down or swamped up now.
Yeah, they're not going to do that much anymore.
Again, it's mainly just archers left. I think, but looking at the percentages, it kind of makes you think they're a little bit closer than it appears to me on the screen. I get a lot of archers, but I don't think they're going to be able to withstand the power of the dwarves, even if they are wrapping around a little bit now.
Sure, no, not at all. Like maybe they can be cheap and run away, shoot, but in the long run, it's not going to work out for them.
No, we'd hope that they don't do the kiting tactic.
No, it's not going to be beneficial. Like if it's 1v1. Like if one unit attacks another unit, and that's the case, maybe you can do it. Oh, let's hit a unit right there. They just got killed.
Archangel is already announcing his victory, which might be slightly premature, but we'll see. What he doesn't see, which I can see, is a couple of ambush units, so I think he's perhaps slightly early in that. And it does look like the kite is going to start beginning by Arnor. They are racing their Dynadine Rangers away, being chased quite heavily by Trollmen and Spearmen. Trollmen are relatively fast, they may catch up with them, but I believe that what they're going to try is possibly do a kiting tactic, but we'll see what happens while the Dwarves clear up the rest of the forces that are still knocking around.
How many hidden units do they have?
None right now. They're all firing.
Okay.
Hopefully the crossbowmen will be able to maybe do some work. They'll just need to bring up some of their archers and get them into better positions.
I mean, yeah, this kiting tactic from Arnor, it's no use. There's no way they're gonna win this.
No, I mean all they're going to do is end up finding themselves on the very edge of the map at this rate. I think.
Yeah, they're just gonna take more of our time, and they're gonna
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like they're charging in now. That's good.
Yeah, it looks like they're starting to run out of ammunition, so I think they're just going to go to the point of just trying to break these archers and silence them, which is pretty fair. I would send, at this point, some of my archer units in just to silence the other ones, because my infantry just need to finish off the last couple of steel bowmen. There's only 7 of them left, and then they're basically released to go for it as best they can.
Oh, yeah, I see some more hidden units popping up now. Still, it's not going to make any difference.
No, they're definitely going to try and do this sort of kiting formation, but I think that the Dynadine Rangers that they've left as a sacrifice unit are probably going to lose to the Royal Guard, and I don't think the Trollmen even need to worry about flanking behind them. The Royal Guard are going to finish those off, and the Trollmen just need to try and charge down those Dynadine Rangers and hope they don't get peppered too much in the process. They do have shields and they are heavy, but we'll see.
I have to say the morale is so high in this game. Like at this point, I would think it'd be fair for Gondor to route, like his entire army to be routing, but
yeah,
in this game nobody pretty much routes.
No, and it will be interesting to see how the Warband do against the Steel Bowmen, actually. They're quite even in number in terms of size, but I don't think it's going to matter too much because the Trollmen are about to come in and envelop them.
Yeah. They're getting support. There's no way.
We do see some routing going on. There's a pikeman unit of 45 that have been routed, which are on their way off of the field. So that's pretty good for them. We are getting to the point where we're running out of time, so they are going to have to try and rush this through to get to that point where they get to what's considered a domination. It will be really unlucky if Harad can't finish this off in time, and I'll feel really bad for them if they can't finish off the units that are remaining on the field, or we start seeing sort of admit defeats.
The Dynadine Rangers are pretty much, both of them are engaged right now with the Trollmen of Harad and the Naru and Aru.
There's the first admit defeat.
Okay.
So we just got to see whether they can get that charge in on the wavering Gondor archers. They've been broken. Here we go, and it seems to be the fall of the end. Really great play by both sides. Actually, if you look at the percentages, there was still only 10% in it. I'm very impressed with Harambe and Archangel. They took a very difficult situation where they had to be the attackers and worked really well, especially with worst cav.
Yeah. I have to say they impressed me very much this battle. I'm kind of scared of them now.
Yeah, did you play them last round?
Yeah.
Did you beat them last round?
Yeah, we beat them significantly, but
right then. In which case, take that as a blessing, because I think you're going to see them again in the final if you get there.
As I said, I called it. They are going to be going to the final for one of the two contenders. So
we need to admit defeat.
We do. Yeah.
And there you have the results. You can really look at Harambe. He absolutely tore them asunder.
So apparently my unit also 15 guys.
A couple of routers, I guess.
A couple of routers, yeah, I'm guessing.
Great game. We're going to take a break now and set up for the next battle. Thank you very much for watching.